and he didn't care that like the pilot was like stuck on a deserted island and was about to die of dehydration, because he thought that wasn't a matter of consequence, as like the survival of his rose.
But then you think like, yeah, this person might fit you the best. But then you think like, no, like, you don't know who else out there, and then how that person could fit you maybe better and in a worse way. I don't know which one. So hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sun and the Stars podcast, a podcast by Sunway Book Lovers United. And today we're going to talk about a very popular book, The Little Prince by, let me try this, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. You know what? A fun fact, I did learn French for 12 years. And if anyone who learned French and listen to me, they're going to be like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, today I'm so happy to have Nabila and Jia Li to talk about this wonderful book. All right, welcome guys, welcome. This is your first time on the podcast, right? And you are a second, nice. All right, you know what? This book is like a must-have book on any bookshelf in Vietnam. Like in Vietnam, Vietnamese people like maybe they don't read Harry Potter, maybe they don't read Lord of the Rings, and definitely they don't read Twilight. But they definitely have some Little Prince book on their shelf. This is like, because like we inherit, but we are influenced by the French literature, the Russian literature, and Chinese literature. And Little Prince is like definitely one of the best books to have at home. So I'm so happy to do this podcast, honestly, because before this we actually had like a discussion in our weekly meeting about this book. So why did you suggest this book again?
Because it's such a classic, like you mentioned, even in Vietnam, and it's a really good story. It kind of touches your heart, and it's like a classic. So I really like it, so I recommended it.
Yeah. Last time I recommended already, like the book discussion. Was it like you or me?
I did it.
Sorry for claiming wrong one. Okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah, I love doing that again, and this is a really nice book, like you said. You finished the book already,
yes.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
I finished the book.
Can you tell everyone, because we talk about this book already, can you tell the audience like what is this book about and what is your favorite thing about the book?
Oh, okay. So the book is about like this pilot who crashed this plane into like a deserted island, and he said he was like miles away from like any like civilization, but somehow there was a little boy there, and he was called the Little Prince, and he seemed to care about things that seem to not matter to anyone else, like how he has a flower on his planet, or
a rose, right?
Yeah. And he didn't care that like the pilot was like stuck on a deserted island and was about to die of dehydration, because he thought that wasn't a matter of consequence, as like the survival of his rose. Yeah, basically that's it. And it was just like about the pilot learning to, I guess, regain a bit of like childhood innocence and make like peace with his inner child in a way. And I think my favorite part of this book is actually its portrayal of like relationships. Yeah. Instead of like, I know like the main point of the book is like to talk about what actually matters in life, but like they do touch on the fact that like like relationships matter in life and all that. And I sometimes like I stumble upon like a question where it's like, what is a relationship if not just like a selfish desire for company, right? And I feel like this book managed to make me realize it a bit. Like it's not just like a selfish desire for company, it's like the experiences you have with that person, the memories you make with them. Like if there's like a clone of like a million clones of like your friend out there, you would still choose your friend over any other clone, because that's your friend,
There's a connection. that happened.
Honestly saying, I'm so sorry, but this book to me it was difficult for me to read for some reason. Like maybe when I started reading that the first time I tried it, I still remember exact time. Like it was like after I finished reading Lord of the Rings, when I read like big ideas and adventures of the Hobbit and everything, and I read the books, I was a little disappointed in a way. Like I felt like, yeah, this book, people keep talking about this, but I didn't understand that completely. But then the second row, I gave them another try. I think like a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, years, months. I know I lost count. I was too old. So I found like this book, it's very deep. It's very like right now the other episode they said like what's the word?
Timeless, wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome, timeless.
Yeah,
and it's just beautifully written. But talking about like the meaning of the book, there are a lot of themes, right? So I want to ask you like, what is your favorite theme of the book then?
Friendship.
That's like her.
Yeah, same. Yeah, so there's like the Little Prince and the pilot, and then the Little Prince and his rose, and the Little Prince and the fox. There's quite a few friendships here, and love because of the rose. Yeah, and one of the relationships that I like the most is probably the pilot and the Little Prince. Yeah. The main characters.
I still remember the last time we talked about the book, we actually assumed that the rose is not just a friendship, but more like a romance, remember? Yeah.
Kind of romance.
Yeah, and a toxic romance.
Yeah, she seems kind of passive aggressive to me.
Yeah, and I mean like why do you take care of something that's so needy like that? And
not gonna lie, the rose was the character I related to the most.
Oh my.
Why?
I feel like at first I thought the same. Like, you know, like she's quite like needy and like looking for attention. But then I saw a bit of like a younger piece of me in her, in that like she was just like naive. She was just a rose that had just bloomed, right? So obviously she wanted attention. She wanted like dramatics, because she's a rose. She's a flower. Of course she's gonna want, you know, like care and all that. And yeah, but what I really liked about like the rose actually was that one paragraph where, like, you know how she thought she was like the only rose in the universe? Yeah, and then like the little prince found out that there were like a million other roses out there. And then he was like, oh my god, if she found out about this, she would probably like die.
Die like, cause
yeah. I feel like she's just like me.
Just like you?
She's just like me.
You think like you're the best person?
No, obviously not. Like, okay, like to go into it, like she believes that like she needs to be something like extraordinary, something that like one of a kind, you know? Like there can't be any other roses out there for her to be special.
Oh.
But then, you know, like the little prince like realized, the little prince thought the same. He was like, I thought I was rich because I thought I was the only one who had a rose. But like, you know, there are like so many other roses out there. But then, you know, he came to realize that like her real value lied in the fact that she wasn't just a rose, she was his rose.
His rose.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a really interesting concept. Like, yeah, like I remember my past relationship. Like, it was really, really awkward. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But it was like when you have like your first relationship, and I don't know if you guys have this idea, like when you believe that, oh yeah, this is the best person of your life. But then a moment later, you think like, I haven't experienced anyone else. Like, I'm so sorry. I sound so weird, right? But then you think like, yeah, this person might fit you the best. But then you think like, no, like, you don't know who else out there, and then how that person could fit you maybe better and in a worse way. I don't know which one. So yeah, in a way, it really it made me feel really conflicted that time. And this rose, actually, I kind of like the idea that this rose and the relationship between this rose and the prince. I mean, in a way, the prince is like, I feel really related to the prince. But at the end, he still chose the robot. Anyway.
And to be honest, I don't really get the relationship, the rose and the little prince.
It's toxic. We talked about that. We agreed that it was toxic. But I mean, yeah, you still. I mean, yeah, in a way, like when you have not experienced anything else, you still like think like the roads she has a reason to be that needy, to requires the attention. One interesting thing about the book is that not just about relationship. I feel like for each planet and each person that the Little Prince has met in his life, it's very interesting as well.
It's like it represents grown-ups, different kinds of grown-ups.
Yep, exactly. So, question for you guys: who is your not really favorite, but what character that makes you feel like interested to read?
Interested.
Yeah, interested.
Not dislike.
Yeah, not this.
Okay.
Not entirely dislike. Maybe you hate that guy, but then you feel like, oh yeah, this guy, he actually he represents like some guys I know in the world, and I feel like this is really interesting way to portray a person in life.
So like people we know in real life who are like similar to those characters?
Yeah, because that's the whole point of Little Prince, right? Like each planet and each person on that planet represents those people. So character.
Well, most of them are quite similar to people in real life. Like the businessman keeps counting, but I like the lighter. Can we call it the lighter?
The lamplighter.
I'm the lamplighter. At least he's not too bad, not like the drunkard. Yeah, and I like him because he's not too bad.
Actually, each of them is in that extreme way. They just like portray people in real life, like the grown up. Sometimes like the Little Prince is just naive. I would say that naive is not the right word here, but innocent, inexperienced, and when he looks at the way that grown-ups act, it's just different from what he expected. And it's the friendship between the prince and the pilot that help him to understand that there are many other stories in the world that he wants to know more. What about you? Favorite character? No, this is not favorite, but the character that you like to read more in the book.
For the Little Prince, to be honest, there are quite a lot of characters, but they don't really go in depth for like many of them. Like obviously, like they're the main characters, the pilot and the Little Prince. But obviously, like it centers a lot around the Little Prince because it's named after him. And like I guess it was interesting. Oh, but actually, okay, the pilot was actually really interesting. I forgot about him halfway through because there was that one portion where he just wasn't there.
Exactly.
But then it was quite nice to see like his development from like at the start where he was just like what was the word? Entertaining the Little Prince just for the just because he's a child in a deserted island, and like he didn't understand the boy like at all. Like he was like, why are you talking about all these like unimportant things? And then by the end of it, he began to worry about the same things. He began to think like those same beforehand it was unimportant, but now they're important to him as well as like the Little Prince.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting to see like his character develop even like through like such a short amount of time. Like he was only stuck there for like a week. He was gone for half the book, and the book isn't that long anyways. Yeah.
No, it's a good conversations between the two of them, because if you think about like the pilot, he has been through a lot of things, war, and then a lot of stuff, and now he sees a little child who's just like learning to be like a grow up, and it makes me think about like what does it take to be like a grown up? Like what do you have to give up of a child to become a grown up? Because like everyone now we are getting like at that age, right? I think I'm suffering from quarter life crisis now. And I have a lot of stuff on my head right now, and I feel maybe I wish I didn't do that. I wish I could have done something differently.
I guess it's the responsibilities that you take up, and then you kind of lose the innocence.
You lose your innocence. Is that worth it?
I don't think so. It's not really worth it. Yeah, and then just get caught up in all the stuff that you need to do, and then you forget how to enjoy things and then be in the present like that. Yeah, so the Little Prince, he actually helps the pilot to find that back, right? So
I guess most of the grown-ups depicted in the book were quite literally in their own world, right?
That's true.
Right? And
the whole planet.
Yeah, they took up the entire world, and they would leave space for nothing else. Like the king would take up the entire planet just for his throne, and like the businessman or whatever he was would take up the entire space just to like count and count and count. Whereas the little prince was there taking care of like plants, taking care of the nature and everything. And I feel like as we grow older, there's always like more greed, right?
More greed.
Because people tend to have a more like bleak outlook on life. Like you have to move forward, you have to get more money, like gain more power, and that's like the only way to like succeed. And
I think it's not about like people wanting that, but it's more like how society is.
Yeah.
Like it pushes you to behave that way.
Yes.
Rather than people want. Because if you ask anyone, hey, do you want to work? Do you want to study? Do you want to do this? Definitely not. I just want to go grow a plant and then take care of everything I love.
But who was the first person to make society that way?
I don't know. It's just like all of us.
It has to be someone.
No, it's just like all of us get together and then we just like no, yeah, it cannot stay that way. Like it's not like everyone is equally, it's like equal that way.
Yeah, but don't you like sometimes look at kids who are just like content, like blowing bubbles or like looking at insects and just think like they've got it right?
But you can't stay there. Who's gonna fit them? Who's gonna work for them? Yeah, of course, everyone would love that because like at a certain point in life, that's why people get married and get children, but I don't understand that you realize that you've made enough money that you are capable of taking care of someone because of you, that the kids could have those innocent time that he or she would enjoy life. Because think about it, if you don't work really hard, right, and the kids
they can't enjoy.
Yeah, they can't enjoy.
Them doing
Yeah,
the
that's
work.
why. Yeah, they have to do the work, which is really sad, like child labor and anything.
I guess it's from money, right? And then trade, and then people need that to survive.
This is a good, really good part of the book that I think like Little Prince, it mentions like how grow up just like focus on money, not money exactly, but more like numbers. You can say like, I have really good relationship, I can have I have really good relationship with my girlfriend kinda, but you can say, oh yeah, we've been together for like 7 years. Oh yeah, that's a really good relationship. I've been with my girlfriend like 10 years. Ooh, you're gonna get married.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's even better. I have 2 cars. I have 4 cars. Wow, that's so good. Like people tend to judge others based on what they have physically rather than what they could achieve like emotionally, and they could grow up like that. So in a way I feel this is so good. This is I feel more related to this book to the book that we just did last episode, honestly. I'm not saying like the previous one was bad, The Velvet Rabbit, but this one, even though it's a children book, you still feel like there are a lot of things that you can learn from this.
It's quite a melancholy book, considering that it's for kids.
That's true.
I mean, for kids, then you just like seek for adventures. That's it.
Yeah, that's why when I read it when I was younger, maybe I didn't finish the whole thing, but I didn't really get it.
But it's an adventure. You like the little prince, you travel this, travel that. You also like seek for something fun. But as grown up, we read this in different angle and we see like that's why I got this wrong for the first time, because I assumed that it would be a children book, but it helps. I assumed, but I feel like it was a really bad thing to do.
I'm gonna ask you guys, did you guys maybe like shed a tear or two?
I did.
I almost did. I did a bit.
At the end of the book, you mean?
Yeah, near the end.
Sorry for spoil, but it doesn't have really. I don't know if you consider that a happy ending or a sad ending.
Sad ending, but I still love it.
But it's like an open ending.
Sweet, no?
Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe he will go back to the battle.
I feel like it's sort of like open to interpretation. Obviously, kids would just think like, oh, he's just gone back to his planet.
Yeah.
But I feel like I think what I mentioned before is that it was a way of him like making like peace with his inner child, and then like he doesn't need to like hold all that around anymore.
So why is the appearance of the snake at the very end of the book is important to the plot.
That's what I was wondering actually. I was like, what is the symbolism of the snake?
Like the actual symbol.
Actually, I have a theory. Maybe that snakes symbolize, because whenever we think about snake, we just think about bad things. So he dies because of bad things, and he goes to heaven.
But then I feel like it's somehow connected to, like, you know, the fact that at the start, like the
boa constrictor.
Yes, the boa constrictor, like him just like always being fascinated by it and like drawing it inside and outside. And he mentions that quite a couple of times. And I feel like that's somehow like connected to it, but I just can't place what it is.
Maybe it refers to a life circle, when he just travels to different lives of people already, and now he's at the end of the circle, and he just like wants to go back and do that again. I don't know.
Maybe he represents life and death, the soul taker.
The soul taker. Because when I think about snake, I don't think about soul takers, you know.
Well, they poison people.
Yeah,
he did die of the poison, no?
Yeah, and he's like volunteered to do that, not like by accident, is what I'm saying. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, the fact that he had to die to go back to like.
And then he said
planet.
his body was too heavy to take it back, so he wanted to go, just his soul.
But still, I think it, like you said, it opens up to a lot of interpretation. You can think about whatever you think like, and maybe it's a hopeful ending. And okay, one last question. What are your last words on the book? Like, after reading the book, what your thoughts? Did that go beyond your expectation? Did you feel like you don't like any part of the book?
I feel like I underestimated it quite a lot.
Because you I assume that like I did.
You know, it's a children's book. Like, so I was like, you know, I expected something like Snow White or something. But I see why it's a classic, and the fact that it's written in the 1940s and it remains, like, you know, somewhat contemporary, and it's still like quite relevant. I think it really stands true to what it, like, its message, you know, and yeah, it's just very timeless. And I wasn't expecting, like you mentioned, it was a little difficult of a read, but maybe because like the language was so, it was like a bit like poetry, you know.
Poetic.
Yeah,
but it's beautifully written.
Yes, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to cry. I cried quite a lot.
I mean, it's what the way French writers write. Yeah, it's they choose really fancy words and everything. Like if you read like Victor Hugo's book, you will see like they have a lot of things to say, just like the Russians when they write books. Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's that's what makes it so. What's that? Right? Like everyone recommend that to you. It's so beautiful. And yeah, the translation. I feel like this translation is better than Vietnamese translation in many ways. Because like, I don't know, there are certain words like the tree. We didn't. Yeah, it's the baobab. It's not really common for Vietnamese people to imagine. But if you Google the baobab on the internet using the English word, like you can see like in like the real picture. You know, but Vietnamese people, when you translate that, it was like, what is this tree? And I have no idea. But yeah, this is a really good translation. You?
Well, it's called a children's book, but it's still suitable for grown-ups, adults, teens.
Definitely.
So yeah, it is a classic, and I think this is a book that you can reread a lot of times, and yeah, I really like. There's a quote I like one runs the risk of reaping a little if one lets himself be tamed.
My favorite quote was somewhat similar to yours. It was like in relations to it.
Yeah, I also like the encounter with the fox. Yeah, because the fox teaches quite a few lessons to the little prince. I like the book. I would definitely recommend it to other people too.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure to have you guys here, and it's been a wonderful conversation. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'd love to see you as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and share this video. And thank you. Bye bye.